Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name's Ali and I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 64 and 3/4 year old semi-retiree and I'm trying to do the best with what I've got between having left my office job earlier this year and getting my state pension at the end of July in 2027. I'll be quite honest with you that this is the fourth take of this video, and it really is going to have to be the last take because I'm running short of time. But I would like to briefly touch on my work ethic, and we'll see where we go with this. And I hope I'm not going to dig myself into a ditch in the process. But before we do that, I'd just like to say welcome to any new viewers. And I'm sorry if you've landed on this one and you think, oh my goodness, it's a little bit heavy. But we do have lighter content on Mondays with Magazine Monday, and then I talk about financial things on Fridays, and then something else topical on Saturdays. And welcome to my returning viewers. And I just want to say I'm very aware I've not got back to your comments on my coffee and catch-up video from Thursday, but I have been working extra shifts at the supermarket. I've been doing that because, as I said in that coffee and catch-up, my projected YouTube income for September is significantly down. And I think that's actually due to advertisers as much as anything. And that will be paid to me in October and will affect my November living allowance. So what I've been trying to do is I've taken on some extra shifts at the supermarket to bump up my October paycheck from the supermarket to offset any potential losses from my YouTube income. So I've been working 2 extra shifts this week. I've got 2 extra shifts next week and 2 extra shifts the week after. So I think all in all that's around an extra 18 hours. And if that doesn't solve the problem, then nothing will. But I also would just like to thank my regular viewers in my absence from my comment answering for standing in the gap for me yesterday and the day before. There were a couple of comments that I have now actually removed that one was of a bit of a personal nature, and that's been removed. I'm afraid I cannot answer questions on that topic. And the other one was a comment from someone who said that basically I wasn't poor enough to be frugal, and I just want to thank the person who stood in the gap for me there, or maybe it was 2 of you, but again I've removed that one for the sake of tidiness. And I just want to say for the record here that I don't think you need to be poor to be frugal. Frugality is not about being poor or living in poverty, but it's about managing the resources that you have the best you possibly can in the circumstances in which you are living. And that's basically all I'm trying to do, is manage my resources the best I can in the circumstances in which I am living. And the fact that I've been taking on 2 extra shifts at the supermarket this week, next week and the week after is an example of that. You know, I'm keeping an eye on my finances. I've realised that one income stream is down, so I'm trying to bump up the other one. And I think that leads me on to, very briefly, onto the topic of my work ethic. I have a very, very strong work ethic. I believe that I have worked incredibly hard to get where I am. For some people, where I am is probably not very far, but for me, I think it's quite amazing, and I'm thrilled that I've managed to achieve what I have in the decade or so. Actually, it's probably in the last 25 years to 25 years I've really been pushing it. Maybe the last 30 years. It has taken a long time, and a lot of graft and a lot of turning on a sixpence sometimes to get to the position that I am in today. And the reason that I am frugal and I work hard now is because I have the core belief, and this may be wrong and I'm open to correction, I have the core belief that nobody's going to come and rescue me. So if nobody's going to come and rescue me, I've got to do it myself. And I think this belief that nobody's going to come and rescue me and I've got to do it myself was actually born when my 3 oldest children were quite young, and obviously I was still married at the time, and we were told by some official letter, that we would be entitled to child tax credit or something. I'm not sure what that is. And we applied for it and we got it. And I think that year we were credited over a period of time by £511, which made a lot of difference to us back then. We're talking about the early 90s. And then the following tax year, we had a rather abrupt letter saying that they believed my now ex-husband had earned an amount of money that meant that we were no longer entitled to this child tax benefit, and could we pay the £511 back? Well, to be honest with you, it was a real struggle trying to find £511 back in the early 90s when we were on income support at one point. We were not very well off at all, and that experience led me to the point of thinking, I cannot depend on anybody, not even the powers that be. Nobody is going to come and rescue us except us. Nobody is going to come and rescue me except me. And I think that belief has sort of lingered in my heart over the years. And when I did eventually find myself on my own, I must admit at that time I was surrounded by a wonderful community of people who really rallied, and I would have gone completely under without them. So, I am tempering what I'm saying by the acknowledgement of those wonderful, wonderful people that helped me at the time. But since I've downsized and relocated, I am very much on my own, and nobody is coming to rescue me but me. And so, if one income stream is down, then I have to try and find a way of bumping the other income stream up. I mean, last month I published a couple of bonus videos in the attempt to try and bump up my YouTube income, and it helped a little bit, but I'm not in a position to do that this month, so I've taken on the extra shifts. I sometimes think perhaps I've been slightly cursed with this need to work hard and graft, as they call it up here, because I was born on a Saturday, and as the nursery rhyme goes, Saturday's child works hard for its living, and I certainly have worked hard for my living all of my life, whether it's been for money or to fulfill domestic obligations. I have worked really, really hard. And it does get quite tiring after a while, and I was hoping that retirement would mean that I could slow down a bit. Well, to be honest with you, not going to the office is a real blessing. I mean, the commute was exhausting me, and I'm really glad I'm not doing that anymore. There were a lot of stairs in the building where I worked, and the lift, I didn't trust it. It was very jerky, so I was up and down stairs. That was exhausting, and I'm really glad I don't have to do that anymore. Really happy to see more of my home in the daylight, and I'm looking forward to that, especially as we go into the winter months. It's fantastic not to have to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and drag myself out of the house and leave my dogs on their own. But to be honest with you, I don't feel as rested yet. I'm still grafting, I'm still working, and there have been moments when I have honestly thought that I've not really retired at all. I've just exchanged one job for 2 different ones. I've just exchanged my office job for my office job and my part-time supermarket job for a part-time supermarket job and a part-time role as a YouTube creator. And I've got 3 small annuities on the side. But, it has come with its blessings. I'm very, very grateful not to be going to the office every day. But I do work hard, and I believe that we all have to do our best. And I guess that, part of it is my Protestant upbringing, that we need to be doing our best in the position in life in which we find ourselves. That's just the way I found my way out of things, is to work hard. And I think one of the things I am going to have to do as I move forward is find ways to move more into a place of rest and learning not to work so hard. And I think that's a really big challenge for me over the next 18 months, because we all need money to live on, and I'm not in a position to claim benefits, so I am going to have to work to keep my head above water. So anyway, I think there's not really much more I can say about this, except I am basically just trying to do the best I can with what I've got. It's not everybody's way of approaching life, but it's the way I've learnt to approach life, and that's worked for me so far. I mean, I don't ask a lot of life. I no way I want to go on a fancy holiday. I'd be away 24 hours and I'd want to come home. There's no way I want to go on a plane. To be honest, I'm not really bothered about going to a fancy restaurant. My appetite's not what it used to be. And I've got to the point where I'm not too bothered about having loads of lovely clothes, because I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone anymore. I was at one time, I'm sure, but now I just want to be comfortable and presentable. I've just been mulling over a lot of things, still mulling, not got many answers, to be honest with you. And I think perhaps this is part of the next phase of semi-retirement. I've got through the first 6 months of drama, and now things are calming down, and all these big questions are coming to the surface. Probably aided and abetted by the odd left field comment, but I mean, that's fine. People are allowed to comment, but I still do think that you don't have to be poor to be frugal. Frugal is just doing the best you can with what you've got. And I think on that note, I'm probably going to end this now. I've gone on long enough. It's 15 minutes, and I'm just going to show you the 2 sleeping dogs, and then I'm going to sign off, because I need to go and do a few things before I go to work. I'm sorry that's a bit heavy for a Saturday afternoon and Saturday evening. Yeah, a bit heavy, but I am who I am. As I said, I just try to do the best I can with what I've got, and for me, that is the definition of being frugal, and basically cutting my coat according to my cloth, and not spending money on things I don't need with money I don't have to impress people I'm not really bothered about, to be honest. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Anyway, I'll see you on Monday for Magazine Monday. I've got that mainly in the can now. As they say, we will be looking at making English Christmas mincemeat and my favourite apple chutney recipe.